Hey, Wendy Jackson, a principal of Specimen Hill Primary School in Bendigo, which is in Golden Square, and it's been my pleasure to host Glenn today as principal for a day. Not quite sure that he's taken on all the responsibilities of being a principal, but he's perhaps gained a little bit of insight into what it's like to work in a school in 2019.
Glenn Morrison, I'm the Director for MSD Animal Health, which is a local biological-based manufacturing company out of Bendigo.
Actually, probably what I've enjoyed the most is actually hearing about Glenn's organisation and the wonderful contribution that it makes to Bendigo, and we don't, as a citizen of Bendigo, I don't actually see that, but also to realise some commonalities in the workplace, around staff management, budgets, problems. NAPLAN was released today, so Glenn could see that, the forward planning around how do we address these problems in his organisation and our organisation was quite a lot of commonalities, and I guess I've enjoyed sharing what a day looks like in a principal office, because it's a varied role, I'd say.
And for me, it's been the experience. So seeing what a day in a principal is, and I'm sure I've only seen a very small portion of it, but we've spent a lot of time walking in and out of issues, a lot of going to different issues, and it's clear no day is standard. It's also clear that it's very tough to have a lunch break because there's a lot of activity, but also understanding the commonalities, as we talked about. We linked very closely in on staff development, staff retention, personal development. How do you use the data from the NAPLAN to help build a strategy looking forward, and the commitment of the staffing group that I've met to actually just driving value for the kids has been really eye-opening for me. So it's been the start of it's been a really good day.
I guess I learned a lot about MSD Animal Health, and I guess just, even though I mightn't look it, I'm quite new to the principal role, and I guess just realising that some of the challenges that Glenn faces in his work are also challenges that crop up in schools. We have, I said to Glenn early on, we're in the people business, particularly, and we're all in the people business in a workplace. But in many ways, this is a very big community of 1,000 people. When you have the students plus their parents and teaching staff, that's a lot of people and relationships to be managed. And I guess, so I've learned a lot about MSD Animal Health, and which has been really enlightening, and it's great because Glenn is a partner of ours. We've had lots of groups go out and visit MSD Animal Health, so to learn more about the business and the wonderful businesses that are actually in Bendigo that citizens do not know about, which is quite an eye-opener.
For me today, it's been about just understanding just the nuances that make up being a principal, and what it takes to keep a school calm and focused and push on has been amazing. And as I said, there's been very little breaks and downtime in the day so far. So and it's been, but everyone's working together. And when I look at my work, there's a lot of similarities between teamwork, planning, support. So seeing that in a school environment, in a different environment, has been really, really eye-opening for me today. For me, I think MSD in particular, or business in particular, through the other businesses within Bendigo, can help give the kids vision and help give the kids a line of sight into something they might not normally see. So if I look at science and MSD, biological manufacturing, a lot of the kids today wouldn't understand what that is. Yet if we can play a small part in showing what that is, showing what employment looks like, showing what a career can look like, and how sometimes it's okay not to know. I used an example with the kids in a class today that, developing a vaccine means multiple failures. You're going to fail 300 plus times to develop a vaccine. But when you get it right, it changes the world and the community that we work in. So showing kids that failure is okay, showing kids that there's a career, that science can be exciting. I think that's where business can help with the line of sight. And then on the practical front, maybe we can talk about, how we've got a lot of programs around staff development, staff opportunity, staff development that may be able to assist as well. So it's the start of something.
Just building on probably what Glenn said, part of the reason I'm passionate about our students participating in Passions and Pathways is about building aspirations. As a school, a lot of our parents do work, do have jobs and etc. But as Glenn has seen today, we have really talented students in our school that are capable of a lot. Some of them come from challenging circumstances, but to actually lift their vision and aspirations of, I'm as smart as kids in different schools and that come from a more privileged background, but I can have the opportunities. And also a challenge in education across Australia is around maths and science. So if we could actually get kids excited about a career in maths and science, I think education needs to address that, because it's as equally as important as literacy, numeracy really. I think that'd be good. And I've learnt a lot off Glenn about the little performance development, about the tick box system, and I'm thinking, I wonder how I can use that. So I think there's been a lot more commonalities than I would have thought.
So I think it's easy to default to business leaders as icon leadership, the Ken Fraser, that CEO of Merck, But what I've seen today is leadership in many different ways. And I think we can add to that. I think we can learn from that as an organisation as well. And I think that was really exciting for me today. But I think it takes a lot of leadership to do the different nuances of this school in particular, based on what I've seen today, that I didn't expect coming in here today. I suppose that's the objective today. But I have been really impressed with some of the leadership that I've seen throughout the day today, facing some tough situations, and we've even talked about the development of the school oval and trying to make the right decision there, and my opinion was valued. And I'm sitting there saying, I've seen the oval for the first time, but they're asking my opinion. So I said, this is where we are. And I think, that takes leadership to do that sort of stuff as well. So, to me, I think we underestimate what's available in the school, and we should help build the community up a bit more to see that. And if business can help with that, then I'm all for that.
And when you actually go for a principal's position, I think there's, they talk about technical leadership, which will be just the budgets, people management, all of those sorts of things, which usually principals are really poor at because they haven't had that experience. Symbolic, which is, walk the walk, not just don't talk the talk. In instructional leadership, which is around managing the teaching and learning, because you really need to manage teaching and learning really well to have great practice in your classrooms, because it does influence outcomes, and that's not always that easy. Human leadership is one of the other dimensions, and cultural leadership. So A lot of the cultural leadership is around the values, and not only the Department of Education values, which are fabulous values, I think, of impartiality, respect, various other ones, but the values of the school and how we can use those values with all staff, with families and with students. I find values really drive our organisation. So there are lots of aspects to being a principal, and I can say you often learn on the job, which is probably the same as you, Glenn. You learn by mistakes, and as you go along. Can I speak of it, from the point of view of hosting Glenn? It actually has been really fabulous to hear about his business, but also just those same sort of issues that he faces around leading groups of people and strategic leadership. That's the other part, being strategic and sourcing things from overseas and all sorts of things, and developing processes and procedures. And so I think it's actually great, because it just, in many ways we live in our own little bubble here. So it's just great to see that perhaps, that going forward we can build some further connections with MSD Animal Health around in helping us to meet some of our goals around lifting our students' aspirations, because I think sort of our moral purpose as a school, I'm very big on that moral purpose. I think it's pretty important.
And to me, I would encourage people to do it. I turned up today with a very open mind, on purpose. I didn't do a lot of research on the school. I knew the school, but I wanted to come in today with a very open mind. And, at the start of the day, we didn't really have huge expectations, because I didn't know where it was going to lead. But to me, do it. It shows you a different view. It shows you a different skill set, and I certainly appreciate so much more than what Wendy's doing, and understanding that. So to me, to people, if they're thinking about it, do it, and do it with an open mind, because and then if you can absorb and listen and learn, you'll get a lot out of it. It'll make a big difference to the way you think and the way you behave within the community as well, and give you a better understanding to what's going on out in the community that you don't see from a business perspective. This is feels a lot more personal, what you have to be involved in, especially with kids' development. So, and that's exciting.